Hey guys, Coach Jason, hope you're doing well. So today I want to talk about three types of long runs or options that are valuable pieces to achieve a sub 4 hour marathon. As we know, marathon sub 4 hours is a big milestone for a lot of people. And there's a lot of moving pieces when you're training for a marathon, but a long run is one of the biggest. Okay, training your body to be on its feet for as long as possible, eventually 26.2 miles. And the long run is one of the most important pieces, if not the most important piece in the long run. Now, if this is your first marathon, obviously it's a little bit different because you're going to be gradually, slowly building the long run. If you have a little bit of experience and now you're shooting for a particular time, like a sub 4 hour in this particular situation, then you probably have a little bit more structure in your training and a little bit of running behind your belt. In which case, your training volume might be up a little bit higher, and you might be able to do a little bit longer of a long run. With that said, a couple of points about a long run. Let's say it's your first marathon and you're going to get up to maybe 40 miles a week or something like that. That's not really a lot. I mean, the marathon itself is going to be more than a half. So in that particular situation, your long run's probably only going to be 12 or 14 miles. If you're at 50 miles a week, then you could probably get up to 16 miles and maybe 17 miles for the long run. To me, the cutoff point is 60 miles per week to be the minimum distance for you to get up to 20 miles for a long run. And it's still, a good chunk, almost a third of the weekly overall volume, or actually 33% of the weekly volume. So, and once the volume goes up a little bit higher, it goes down. It goes from like 30% down to 20% of your long run, as it generally should be. I generally recommend about 20%. The long run be 20% of the weekly volume once your volume is a little bit more established. But with that said, okay, that's just something to keep in mind. I will put a fully detailed sub 4 hour training program for the marathon broken down day by day, week by week, month by month for 16 weeks in the description down below. I'll also put how to set the appropriate training paces, and I'll put a bunch of other videos that are relevant to a sub 4 hour marathon and things around it. So take a look at them down below if you haven't seen them yet. Okay, but with that said, let's get to this, okay? I'll give you some paces with regards to sub 4 hours. I particularly used 3:59:30 here, which gives you a 30-second margin of error, okay? So in that case, it's 9:08 per mile. That's the goal pace to get under 4 hours for the marathon, okay? 9:08 per mile, okay? So with that, easy pace runs, okay, will be between 10:45 and 10:15 per mile. I'm looking at my book of all my training details. Steady pace runs, which is a different type of run, will be between 10:15 and 9:45 per mile. Okay, and these are paces that you progress to over time. Half marathon equivalent is 8:51 per mile. 10K equivalent is 8:25 per mile. 5K equivalent is 8:06 per mile. And then a 90 to 95% of goal marathon pace is 10:02 to 9:35 per mile. I gave you those paces because they're all playing parts of these long runs and other things with regards to the marathon training. Even 5K and 10K work can be used as speed endurance for marathons, and it's very, very important that you train not only over distance and long stuff, but shorter and fast stuff, and that includes even hill running for leg power, short sprints, 100 meters, 200 meters, things like that for speed development. Okay. The more efficient your speed is, the more efficient your stride is going to become. And one of the most important components for a marathon is energy efficiency or energy conservation. The better your form is, the less wasted movement, okay, and the more energy you're conserving throughout the marathon. So that's why those pieces are important, okay? So number one, long run. Depending on your training volume, a 16 or 18 or 20 mile long run. That should be repeated several times. So if you're only getting up to 16, I would recommend you probably do 2 or 3 of them throughout the course of your marathon training. If at 18, 2 or 3 of them as well. For 20-mile long runs, I would encourage you to get in at least 2. Okay, how you do them, how you lay them out is completely up to you. But if you want to see an idea, make sure you watch the marathon training program down below. You'll see how I kind of spread out the long runs in the other weeks over a 16-week plan, all right? So it's a 16 to 18 or 20-mile long run at 90 to 95% of your goal marathon pace. So in this case, it's between 10:02 and 9:35 per mile. Those are the pace ranges that you run for these long runs, okay? It's just, it's a tad bit, maybe about 30 seconds to a minute off of your goal marathon pace, but you should be able to run that at some point if you're, getting pretty fit, okay? That's long run number one, just a steady pace run, okay? Long run number two, I call it a half and half, okay? Now what I mean by that is half of it, and let's say, for instance, let's say 16 miles. The first 8 miles, okay, will be between easy and steady pace running, all right? The second 8 miles will be a progression towards marathon pace, or you run as much of that as possible at marathon pace, okay? Now you can do this a couple different ways. You can run the first 8 at marathon pace and the last 8 steady, or you can run 4 easy steady, then 8 at marathon pace, and then 4 easy steady to break up the 16 or the 18 or the 20, okay? And it'll just be equidistant, so it'll be half of the long run at easy to steady, half of the long run at progression, or as much of it as possible at marathon pace. And by breaking it up that way, you know what it feels like to run marathon pace in the beginning, the middle, and the end of a long run. Okay, you need to know what it feels like to run goal marathon pace, especially towards the end of a long run, because at 20 miles, that's when things start to change. It's when the physiology, and how you feel and how your legs respond changes. It's not like a 5K. Okay, you can't come back next week and do it again. Okay, it doesn't work like that. Okay, so it's very important that you train methodically and responsibly and take that same approach into race day. You don't want to deviate from a race plan, especially a marathon day. Okay, so keep that in mind. So that's number two, half and half. Okay, and my number 3 type long run is a long run fartlek, or a long run with bursts. Okay, so you're changing paces throughout the long run. Okay, and in this particular instance, okay, let's do the same 16 to 18, 20 mile marathon long run. Okay, and this could be one of your, let's use 20 as an example. You could do a 20 at your 90 to 95, and then you can do another 20 with an option like this, or the half and half. Okay, this particular one, where you go from 8 to 10 by 800 meter efforts, depending on where you're at, or 6 to 10 by 800 meter efforts. If your long run's 16, maybe 6. If your long run's 18, maybe 8. If your long run's 20, maybe 10, if you can handle it. Okay, 10 by 800 meter efforts, and you progress from 10K pace down to 5K pace. Okay, and in this case, it's going to be about 4:12 to about 4 minutes for your 800 meter efforts, and that's a 10K pace down to 5K pace progression. Okay, after each one, you take a quarter mile nice and easy jog, and this can be continuous. Okay, so let's just say at the 6 mile mark, you start doing these 800s, and you just completely go until it's done. So if you're doing 8 of them, that's 4 miles worth of work, and then additional 2 miles worth of easy running. So that's a 6 mile block. So if you're doing a 20 mile long run, you break it up into 3 pieces. Okay, so the additional 14, so you can do 7 miles, and then that 6 mile block, and then another 7 miles if you want to do it that way. So it's just another way of breaking it up. But this is a way of accelerating, and it's a way of changing the pace throughout a marathon or a long run, so that you cannot either chase a group of people who are in front of you, or break a group of people who are with you, or things like that. It gives you a little bit of racing strategy, okay? And it gives you an opportunity to kind of go fast to the race pace and then settle back into race pace. Faster, settle back in. Faster, settle back in. It'll make race pace feel easier, and that's one of the goals, okay? So those are the 3 types of long run options, okay? You have your 90 to 95%, you have your half and half, and then you have your long run fartlek. I encourage you to watch this video again and write these paces down, because they are paces for a sub 4-hour marathon, okay? And if you're a coach or an athlete, okay, I have competed and coached at the high school, college, and post-collegiate level. I'm also a USATF certified coach. My credentials in my YouTube profile. I'm also a Wharton certified musculoskeletal and flexibility therapist. So not only do I want to help you run faster, I want to keep you healthy while you do it. So if you enjoyed this video, please click the thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button and hit the notification next to it, so that you can see all the other videos that I put out. And I've got detailed programs for everything. 5K all the way up to the marathon, broken down day by day, week by week, month by month. So if you want details of what you're looking for, this is the channel for you. Okay, if you want something to use as a template to compare to your own, this is the channel for you. Okay, and I have other videos: injury prevention, training in bad weather, hill running, speed development. I have everything. Okay, if it's something that I don't have, put them in the comments down below, and I'll make sure to put out a video that accommodates your request. Okay, with that, I appreciate you watching it. Look out for each other. Okay, be safe, train smart, be healthy. And I will. Oh, and by the way, my next video is going to be 3 long run options for a sub 3:30 marathon. You're not going to want to miss that. So I'll talk to you next time.